It's New Year's Eve, which means it is once again time for me to give my list of my top 10 favorite movies of this year, 2023. Now, as usual, first of all, the disclaimers. This list might have movies that you don't expect to be on it, and I can certainly guarantee you that you're not gonna agree with it 100%, but I'll let you in on a secret. That's okay. In fact, it's encouraged. Because we all see the world differently, we see entertainment and movies differently. What matters is that we get along. Just so you know, that's how I see it. And second disclaimer, I have not seen every single movie that's come out this year. Yeah, I heard The Iron Claw is just fantastic, but I haven't seen it, nor have I seen Talk to Me. I've heard that's great too, so those movies won't be on this list, along with any others that might be great that I haven't seen. This list will comprise of 2023 movies that I have reviewed. And last thing, before I get started on the list, I want to put out some honorable mentions actually, because there were some pretty good movies this year that are worth noting. They just didn't make it onto my personal top 10, but I feel they are still worth addressing. So 2 honorable mentions, the Super Mario Bros. Movie and Godzilla Minus One. Yeah, 2 horses of completely different colors in terms of tone, although they do both have origins in Japan, so there is that. But since these are just honorable mentions, I'm not gonna touch on them at all. Let's just move on and get started on the list. My top 10 favorite movies of 2023. So starting us off at number 10, you might be surprised at this one, but I got Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. And right now, a couple of you are like, oh yeah, that movie came out this year. Look, I love me a good medieval fantasy. This movie gives me that with a lighthearted and fun tone, Chris Pine with yet another charismatic as hell performance, a great quest, great action, great chemistry and camaraderie between all the characters. The fact is, I revisited this movie recently enough and I was like, yeah, it does deserve to be on this list. Cause I enjoyed the hell out of it and I still would not mind seeing some continuation. And continuing on to number 9, we got Creed 3, another movie I recently revisited. These Creed movies, man, like I said in my review of this one, they just know how to do it for me. They're really strong, heartfelt, emotional stories. The family dynamic was very well pulled off in this one, with Adonis Creed and his wife and their daughter, and a new problem in Jonathan Majors' character, Dame Anderson. Man, did that guy have an axe to grind, which made for a great conflict for Adonis Creed in his 3rd outing. Not to mention this being Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut. Yeah, I can certainly think of worse directorial debuts out there. MBJ is still one of my favorite actors working today, and this movie did nothing to change that. And I'm curious, if not slightly concerned, as to where the franchise is gonna go from here. But we shall see, I guess. Okay, number 8, the last movie I reviewed this year. Yeah, it's The Color Purple. It had to go on this list. Cause just Celie's story of coming of age, being abused, how can you not sympathize with her? This is a musical retelling of a classic story from the 80s. It was great back then, and this retelling proves that it's still great today. With phenomenal music, the musical numbers were amazing. The acting, Danielle Brooks, Taraji P. Henson. I just love these characters, I love the story. I'm definitely gonna watch this movie again, because it is worth it. Moving on to number 7, we got Nimona. Yes, the first animated movie on this list. Certainly not the last though, but how freaking great is this movie, huh? This story is the ultimate message of acceptance. Just because something might be different does not make it automatically dangerous. I love the character of Nimona. She's so charismatic. She's voice acted superbly by Chloe Grace Moretz. Her personality is so magnetic, but she does have that tragic backstory that you certainly sympathize with. Ballister is also great. You gotta relate to at least one of those 2 main characters in some way, shape, or form. This is the kind of movie that I will watch every now and again to remind myself that there is still good out there in the world. Yeah, it's that kind of feel-good movie. And that's why it's one of my favorites of the year. Just under number 6, Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo is the kind of true story underdog movie that I can really sink my teeth into. A kid who loves video games that wants to race, and he's given the opportunity of a lifetime to do it for realsies, with Orlando Bloom and David Harbour helping him out. Yeah, I'm in. This movie gave me one of my all-time favorite performances from David Harbour, cause like I said in my review, he made the movie for me. He stole every scene he was in. Yeah, he's a big part of why this movie's on this list, I will admit, but that just goes to show how good he is as an actor, and just how much fun I have watching him on screen. But other than that, the movie's engaging. It kept me glued to the screen. The racing scenes were executed very well. Admittedly, I have not watched this movie since theaters, but I just learned it's on Netflix, so I'm about to. And alright, we are at the halfway point. How are we feeling so far? Great, well, no time to rest. Let's cross that bridge over to number 5. Now we're getting into the movies that I really loved this year. Coming in at number 5, we got Megan. Yeah, the first movie I reviewed this year. I love this movie because I just have such a blast with it. Like I always say, my favorite kinds of movies are those that know how to have fun, This movie knew how to have fun. I just love the concept of Megan, an AI doll that grows too close to its host and starts bending some rules in order to protect her. All the performances in this movie were great. Allison Williams, Violet McGraw. Plus, this movie also touches on themes about parenthood. It went a little deeper than anyone expected it to go, especially for a January Blumhouse movie that's PG-13. But yeah, this movie blew up for a reason, and I am so excited for the sequel, Megan 2.0. I hope it's good. Fingers crossed. But nothing will change the fact that that hallway scene is one of the most iconic movie scenes of the year for me. I can watch that scene all the damn time, along with the rest of the movie while I'm at it. Working our way up to number 4, we got Wonka, one of this year's biggest surprises for me. Cause like I said, I was not expecting this movie to be anywhere near this list, but here it is at number 4. Timothée Chalamet blew me away as young Willy Wonka by just being charming and charismatic, not to mention his character being another underdog. That certainly helped. And yeah, the best thing this movie did was recapture that childlike spirit that I thought was long gone, from the earlier Harry Potter movies. I love that feeling, of just sitting back, feeling like a kid again, inspired by this magical world. This movie gave me that. I couldn't help but put it on this list. Plus, the music is great too. That's always a nice bonus. So nice job, Warner Brothers, on that. Yeah, this is my favorite Warner Brothers movie of 2023. Alright, number 3, these are the heavy hitters now. I got Elemental. This movie was a sleeper hit, meaning it did not do well in its opening weekend. But then people eventually discovered, hey, this movie's actually pretty good. And word of mouth spread, and it ended up performing pretty well in the box office. Cause it's true, in my opinion anyway, this movie's great. It's a touching story about, once again, just because something is different, that doesn't automatically make it dangerous. Can you tell just how big of a believer I am in that message? This movie brought tears out of me. I love the characters. I love the score. Thomas Newman once again blowing my hair back. Yeah, this is the best Pixar movie I've seen in theaters in quite some time. Certainly the best Disney movie of 2023. This is another feel-good flick. Just sit down with the family and watch it, have a good time, bring the tissues. Just goes to show that Pixar, even though it has had its missteps, they can still crank out some gems. Way to go, Elemental. In my eyes, you are one of them. And here we are, number 2. The silver medal goes to John Wick Chapter 4. I'm a newcomer to the John Wick franchise. This is the first John Wick movie I saw in theaters. And even though I did watch all 3 at home before going to see this, it did show me just how much I'd been missing. Holy shit, the action scenes in this movie were the best of the year by a long shot. I mean, just that top-down scene alone, where he's going throughout the building and just plugging guys with that fire gun, whatever that was. Oh my god, how awesome was that? Again, another movie that just knows to have fun. These action scenes, man, they don't just know how to have fun. They know how to have a fucking blast. It's like it sat me down and it's like, no, you don't know what fun is. We will show you what fun is. We will show you what fun feels and tastes like. And I walked out of the movie going, that was pretty delicious. In fact, it was so good that I think I saw it again the next day. If not the next day, then the day after that. I saw it pretty soon after the first time I saw it. Cause it was worth it. John Wick Chapter 4 delivered a satisfying conclusion to the John Wick saga. Yeah, obviously there is more story to tell from that world, but I don't think it's ever gonna get better, or even as good for that matter, as John Wick Chapter 4. Another movie that blew all of my hair back, and that is why it is my second favorite movie of the year. Which leaves number 1, you already know what it is. I'm not fooling anybody. Yeah, what's the one movie that came out this year that everyone is still talking about, they're still quoting and memeing to this day? Well, actually, there are a couple of those. But the one I love the most, yeah, Spider-Man wins again. Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. Look, I can't help myself if I'm a lifelong Spider-Man fan, okay? But this movie, it took what I know about Spider-Man, what I've known about him for over 20 years, and questioned the whole thing. This movie questioned everything. Does Spider-Man's story have to go the way it does every time? Spider-Man's strong moral standing is never wavering. It brought up some great debating points. It gave us a great sympathetic villain in Miguel O'Hara. Gwen Stacy's story in this movie is amazing. Like, this is half her movie too, at least, if not more than half. The animation, need I even touch on it? Yeah, you might have noticed I didn't even touch on the animation in my review or my spoiler talk for this movie, because I wouldn't have been saying anything you haven't already heard. The animation in this movie is absolutely stellar. Just after watching this movie multiple times, you notice that every single frame was so meticulously thought out. There's just so much attention to detail. You notice new things in the movie every time you watch it. I mean, yeah, sure, the Easter eggs and references to other Spider-Man stuff that we've seen over the decades, that's all fun and good. But at the core of it all is Miles Morales and his story, which to me is just quintessential Spider-Man. All those reasons and many more are the reason that Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse gets the gold medal. Number 1, my favorite movie of 2023. And I hope and wish every day that the concluding chapter, Beyond the Spider-Verse, sticks the landing. Oh my god, please don't let us down. So here we are. That's all, folks. Those were my top 10 favorite movies of this year, 2023. Man, this year, this was a pretty big one for me. What with the move and all, and other things, life things, and of course some pretty awesome movies. And next year, 2024, oh man. We got Deadpool 3, we got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, we got Beetlejuice 2, not to mention my most anticipated Joker Folie à Deux, and Wicked Part 1. Oh my god, I can't wait! Next year is just gonna be all kinds of awesome. So for my question, not only will I ask you what your favorite movies of this year were, top 10, 5, whatever works for you, but also what are you looking forward to next year? In terms of movies, maybe even TV shows or games? What are you excited for in 2024? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Happy New Year, and remember, you are Knuff. Peace!